A few years ago, for the first time in human history, the number of people on Earth over the age of 65 surpassed the number of children under the age of 5. That quiet tipping point is now an earthquake. Dozens of countries are now shrinking. Some are losing the equivalent of an entire city's worth of people every single decade. The reasons why are complex and urgent.
There is, in case you hadn't noticed, a plan to reduce the world's population by 9/10.
Think what that represents. That's billions of people.
Bertrand Russell said that a long time ago in his book, where he said that a virus should go around the world at least once every 10 years to kill enough people so that people could procreate. And he said we should have them die a horrible death. And he said that shouldn't bother anybody, especially those of us who are not going to be affected by this.
So it's a plan that will allow many people to die to reduce world population.
The aim of the depopulation plan is to gain control of the world, set up a world government, and lead us via the horrors of net zero into the wilderness of the Great Reset.
And they're doing it in many, many ways.
And one of the many ways they seek to advance their depopulation agenda is through an evil plan to vaccinate the entire world.
Vaccines in general are meant to kill. They are not safe, they are not effective, they do not work. They don't work at all.
The vaccines that Pfizer give out, I did say the vaccines were tested. They were tested to be sure they would harm. And his vision is the annihilation of billions of people in what they call population management.
The Pfizer vaccine is contaminated with plasmid DNA. It's not just mRNA. It's got bits of DNA in it. This DNA is the DNA vector that was used as the template for the in vitro transcription reaction when they made the mRNA. So this DNA could be causing some of the rare but serious side effects like death from cardiac arrest. So there's a lot of cases now of people having suspicious death after vaccine. This DNA can and likely will integrate into the genomic DNA of cells that got transfected with the vaccine mix. This is just the way it works. We do this in the lab all the time. We take pieces of DNA, we mix them up with a lipid complex like the Pfizer vaccine is in. We pour it onto cells, and a lot of it gets into the cells, and a lot of it gets into the DNA of those cells. So that's why I'm kind of alarmed about this DNA being in the vaccine. It's different from RNA because it can be permanent. And it could cause a sustained autoimmune attack toward that tissue. It's also a very real theoretical risk of future cancer in some people. Depending on where in the genome this foreign piece of DNA lands, it can interrupt a tumor suppressor or activate an oncogene.
40 minutes after I took that shot, I felt like I was on fire inside.
Like fire from within.
Like my skin was on fire from head down to my toes.
Kind of if somebody's pricking you with little knives all over your body at the same time.
My knees started buckling.
I couldn't stand up. I fell to the ground and I went unresponsive.
I was on the floor convulsing.
Within 3 hours, I was in the hospital. My left side just drooped.
You could see my whole left side of my face would droop. I still can't smile.
And then I started having a seizure.
Have you ever had seizures before?
No, I'm previously healthy.
My blood sugar was over 1,400. My organs were failing. They told my husband I wasn't going to make it. You know, they were like, how long has she been diabetic? And he's like, never. Like, she's not a diabetic.
My throat is tingling and I'm covered in hives. She says we can't give her intravenous Benadryl. We can't give her intravenous steroids because it will stop the vaccine from working.
It was never intended to cure, not to see whether it will protect. It was never intended to protect. From the very beginning of its idea, it was intended to kill.
The fact is, these are life-shortening injections. Everyone who gets shot after shot after shot of these COVID shots is shortening their life with each and single injection. These are the most toxic medical agents put into human beings in history. because this shot was designed to cross into the ovary barrier. This shot was designed to cross into the brain barrier. This shot was designed to go everywhere. And that's why people are dying in such strange circumstances, unexplained circumstances, but the numbers are horrific.
I knew they were killing people. I knew they were killing people in the hospital. I would cry myself to sleep at night. Even thinking about giving my speech today, sorry, there was so much death. It was almost unbearable. Hospitals became the place where people go to die instead of the place where people go to get better. They separated newborns from their moms. They let people die alone without being able to say goodbye. They drugged them and they strapped them down, and people died without being able to say goodbye to their family. Some of them just got a phone call, and that had never happened before the COVID protocol rolled out in 2020. So yeah, when they say they killed people, I agree with them.
Is the population going to get so big that feeding everybody and maintaining the environment is going to be impossible? Here we can see a chart that looks at the total world population over the last several hundred years. And at first glance, this is a bit scary. We go from less than 1 billion in 1800, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.4 billion where we are today is happening even faster. So Melinda and I wondered whether providing new medicines and keeping children alive, would that create more of a population problem? What we found out is that as health improves, families choose to have less children. And this effect is very, very dramatic. We find that in every country of the world, this is repeated. The population growth goes down as we improve health. So we've taken that chart that shows the global population growth, and we've actually extended it out all the way to 2100. And we can see that instead of continuing, it actually flattens out. Another way to see that is through this rate of population growth. And you can see that in the 60s, that reached a pretty high number, over 2% per year, and it's now come way, way down. Now, 11 billion people, still a lot, but the good news is that the faster we improve health, the faster family size goes down.
So here's the problem. He's a proponent of population reduction through infertility or mass killings. And so I'm asking you, somebody who says the world population needs to be brought closer to zero, reduced by the billions around the world. If he's producing vaccines, you want to use them? Come on.
Behind the smiling faces of these philanthropic organizations lies a deception that has led nations to blindly embrace these so-called vaccines. And now, more than ever before, the evidence is clear. There has been an alarming reduction in global population.
South Korea went from a miracle economy to the world's most extreme case of population decline. For several years running, it has recorded the lowest total fertility rate on the planet. The latest figure was a shocking 0.72. That's not just below replacement level, it's less than a third of it. In Greece, the tourism industry is booming. The population is not. The country is facing a demographic storm created by two distinct events. First, a very low fertility rate, which has hovered around 1.3 to 1.4 for years. Serbia has been shrinking for decades. This exodus combines with a chronically low fertility rate. Fewer young people means fewer births, and a smaller workforce to build the economy that might convince the next generation to stay. Bosnia and Herzegovina. The country has struggled with a natural population decrease, more deaths than births. Japan was the pioneer. It was one of the first major countries to experience population aging and decline. Now, that decline is accelerating. For years, its total fertility rate has been near or below 1.3, among the world's lowest for a large nation. The country has a record share of citizens over 65. In rural prefectures, this trend is hollowing out entire towns, closing schools, and leaving infrastructure with nobody to maintain it. For decades, the megacity of Tokyo acted like a demographic magnet, pulling in youth from all over the country. But now, there aren't enough young people left to pull. If you were writing a textbook on rapid population loss in the 21st century, you might use Bulgaria as a case study. Since its post-communist peak, the country has lost over 20% of its population, a staggering decline in peacetime. The reasons are classic: a fertility rate among the lowest in Europe, combined with a high median age. Bulgaria remains one of Europe's fastest shrinking states.
In Germany, the fertility rate dropped to 1.35 children per woman, the lowest since 1994, which came off the back of a recession period. Researchers clearly said the only reason why the population didn't shrink last year was because of migration. Migration also slowed the population decline in Italy, but not enough to prevent a decrease. Italy's 2024 birth rate was 1.18, a record low. For every 1,000 people, only 6 babies were born, while 11 people died. In neighboring France, which is traditionally one of Europe's most fertile nations, numbers are also dropping fast. Its fertility rate in 2024 at 1.62 was the lowest since the end of the First World War. Even the wealthy northern European countries are suffering a decline in births, with Finland notably reporting the lowest fertility rate since 1776. Poland holds one of the bottom spots with only 1.1. England and Wales represent an exception with a tiny 0.6% growth thanks to a surprising rise in babies born to fathers over 60 years old.
So it's a plan that will allow many people to die to reduce world population. And that's why they got the Congress in the United States to pass a bill that exonerates them from any damage. Think about it. No matter the damage caused by vaccines, they're free. The big pharma will be free. Why did they seek that? Because they knew there would be trouble. They knew they did something terrible.
In 1986, President Ronald Reagan signed the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act, granting total immunity to vaccine manufacturers. After a decade of lawsuits related to vaccine injuries and deaths, vaccine makers were going bankrupt. In a move to coerce policymakers, vaccine companies threatened to stop making vaccines until they could be legally shielded from liability. To this day, when someone is injured or killed as the result of an adverse reaction, it is the U.S. taxpayers that pay for the damages.
There were several Indian tribal girls used as guinea pigs. The report alleges that 2 American pharma giants' untested vaccine was administered to thousands of tribal girls without proper study and paperwork.
India was among the hardest hit after Bollywood celebrities were incentivized by the Gates Foundation to urge the public to submit to mass vaccinations. In 2009, tribal children were administered the HPV vaccine. Over 24,000 girls were told they were being given wellness shots, in many cases without the informed consent of a parent or a guardian.
The people that were administering these vaccines lied to the guardians of these girls and told the girls, oh, this is going to cure cancer, you're never going to have cancer. And these girls became severely injured. Some of them developed seizures, some of them developed cancer, and 7 girls died. And there was no insurance, there was no assistance for them, and the Gates Foundation denied that it had been clinical trials.
The deception. Does it sound familiar? They have not changed. This is how these people are. They haven't changed.
23-year-old Alexis Lorenze has been sharing her struggles with followers on TikTok. This comes after she was admitted to UCI Medical Center in Orange for a rare and life-threatening blood disorder. The local hospital forced her to receive 3 vaccines at once, which she said resulted in life-threatening reaction.
My ears are probably some of the worst part of it. One of the doctors told me I might need to do something like plastic surgery on my ears and reconstruct them because of how much my ears have blown up.
Obviously, this story is tough to look at. For religious reasons, Alexis and her family had long abstained from vaccines. However, she says the hospital informed her that continuing treatment required vaccinations. Alexis says she reluctantly accepted, that says her body had extreme adverse reactions, leaving her battling for her life.
So the patients were undertreated, mistreated, maltreated, and died because of money. And it boils down to that. It really boils down to that.
These were fundamental violations of human rights.
You know, face it, those that were in hospitals during that time were sitting ducks for, you know, whatever therapy could be foisted on them by hospital administrators who were lining their pockets at the same time.
I'm adamant that, you know, we can never go down this road again where the FDA and the CDC and our politicians and big pharma and et cetera push protocols on us that are not only don't work, but that actually harm, injure, and even kill patients.
We failed as a society. We failed as a medical community. We were misguided by government agencies, the NIH, the FDA, the CDC, and especially misguided by money and protocols. You are not a protocol. You are a human being. You have individual needs. And sadly, so many people succumbed, not to a virus, but to neglect and to wanton greed.
In reality, with the COVID vaccines, an authentic crime against humanity is being committed. I mean, I am talking about a crime against public health that has been perpetrated by the pharmaceutical industry with the support of the mainstream media, with the complicity of the European community countries and governments, and the bribing of the health authorities, hospital directors, medical societies directors, science societies, etc.
This vaccine campaign, it will go down as the biggest scandal in medical history, and moreover, it will be known as the biggest crime ever committed on humanity.
Be sure of this. The wicked will not go unpunished, but those who are righteous will go free.